Log into gyroscopemeet.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio, internet radio station powered by GMG LLC.
In the beginning there was Jack, and Jack had a groove. And after a while, a deep sleep fell upon him, and he went looking for a new groove. He began looking for a new nation, and it had to be a soulful nation. And he found it, and it was Soulful House Nation. And he saw a building. It was a tall building. It had 10 stories. And he entered the building and got on the elevator and pushed the 10th floor, but it stopped on the 8th floor. And that's where he found his new groove. And he began to jack and jack and jack and jack. And he knew that this was it. It was Soulful House Nation on the 8th floor. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. I am DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Wow, today we have a special show here. We have a young lady, all the way from Finland. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to, I'm going to ask you to go back and check out last week's show. Last week's show was a little bit different. We talked about Soulful House, but at the same time, we got into the discussion about the Super Bowl and the influence and the Taylor Swift effect is what I want to call it. And there was back and forth on there, and they should show her, they should. And I said, listen, you can have any opinion you want, but I got to tell you, she's good for business. And I got to tell you, if it was my business, and she decided to show up, she could come every time. She's good for business. All right. Okay. Then we also talked about, we played the hottest song, excuse me, the hottest song according to Track Source. We talked a little about some up-and-coming stuff. And then we're going to do that. And then we're going to do our special guest interview with Heidi B out of Finland, Helsinki. All right. So This we're gonna play just a little snippet of the number one song according to Track Source in the Soulful House category. Just a snippet, because Facebook is a nasty, nasty little habit, shutting us down and muting us out. And that's just what they did last week, and they'll continue to do that. This song is we're gonna do that, but also to just always want to get a shout out to Chuck Roberts, who gave us the initial drop, and also King T Finesse and Ariel Shante, who did our theme song. So right now we're in a lot of places, a lot of places. We're on Facebook, of course. We're on YouTube. We're on Vimeo. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch, and we're on the website. Last week, we had in excess of 4,500 live views. So I just want to thank all the people who are checking for us, and we're getting worldwide notice. So fantastic. So let's do this. Let's play the number one song on the Track Source for this week. And again, we're going to play only one snippet. It's fitted with its nasty, nasty little habit. I'm DJ Dan, the unusual suspect, coming to you live from the 8th floor. Here we go. Chuck? That is Turbo Jazz, Rona. Okay.
Like love, everything comes, everything goes, staying in my zone. Like love, everything comes, everything goes, staying in my zone. Make love to my first, appease this thirst.
Here we go, folks. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. I am DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation. I'm coming to you live from the 8th floor. So listen, we're getting ready to start up the show here. We just want to talk about a few things that are going on. So, what a great week this was in terms of if you're into sports or not. You had to know about the Super Bowl. That was right. There was no going to sleep on that one. You could not go to sleep. You had to be there to the end. And it was so close. Can you imagine the heartbreak of being on the team that came in second place? Unbelievable. And just imagine how ecstatic they are that they were able to pull it out, the Chiefs. So congratulations to the Chiefs. Congratulations to everybody who was hoping for the Chiefs to win, and not condolences, but just wish you better luck next year for the people who were pulling for the 49ers. Okay, so a couple things are going. Some new music. Heidi B's got a lot of new music. One of the tracks I'm going to play when we go into the Shazam Free Zone is Mr. Fly, dope track. Aaron K. Gray's got a new one that they just started pushing. It's called I Need You Now. Okay, and then there's Aberton, Lee Wilson, Marco, Nirvana. It's called Still I Stand. Anaya Weathers has a new track out called Down For You. So we're going to start hitting some of those stuff in the Shazam Free Zone. Just so you know, it's Shazam Free Zone. Every week we play brand new stuff. Now, so listen. Let's be clear. I'm very, very familiar. I'm very familiar with the tracks that are played at most of the parties. I'm very familiar. But what I look to do in the Shazam Free Zone is to play brand new stuff, because let's acknowledge it. All the current hits, all the classics started out brand new, and somebody had to introduce that stuff. Now, granted, I know you're not going to like every track. Just like if you're into hip-hop, you don't like every hip-hop track. But, hey, there are some gems in there. And those are the ones you want to know. Those are the ones you want to start asking the DJs for. So that's on that. That's going to happen there. So those are some here. Some things that are coming. As you know, on this this Wednesday, February 14th, I will be DJing for Valentine's Day celebration for New Community, the New Community organization, and it's going to be at the Priory in Newark. We're going to start 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's a perfect day. Listen, make plans. Come there. It's going to be a combination of R&B and house. We're going to warm up with R&B, then we're going to go house. That's how it's going to work. The second thing that's going to happen is if you're a couple, you should be there. If you're couples, you should be there. Okay, but then listen to this. If you're single, you should be there. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to break the mold of these parties that we do. Again, I'm the unusual suspect. So most of the parties, they play straight house or whatever, and they play all the way through. They never stop. And I know how to do that. I've done that most of the time. But this is going to be a little different. This is Valentine's Day. So I'm going to have two songs that are going to be a little bit different. I'm going to play a slow song. I know, some people's hearts just dropped. I'm going to play a slow song for the couples out there that came out that night. The second thing that's going to happen is I'm going to play a song so that if you're single and you want to meet someone, or you want to at least get a look at who else is single in the room so you can make your observations and make your conversations, all right, then I'm going to play a song so that the single people can come onto the dance floor. So I got two opportunities for dances. Aside from the regular fast music and stuff like that, we're going to have a couples dance, and then we're going to have one for singles. Next thing, too, you should be aware of is that there's parking there. So you don't have to fish around for parking, which is really, 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 really good, because you got a lot of these events where sometimes it's a good thing you want to get your steps in because you're going to have to walk. Okay, next thing is that on that night, they might have some light refreshments or some light food. They might have something. I'm going to speak on it. Then also, too, we will have that night, we will have a photographer so you can take pictures and create memories. Now, I'm encouraging everybody to come out that night. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great time, great time, great time, great time, great time. All right, so that was on that. Then on this Friday, I'm going to be playing from 4 to 6. I'm on KMTV out of Atlanta, and I'll be playing house. But what I do is a little bit different. As I said, I'm the unusual suspect, is I play a combination of old stuff. I shouldn't say old. I say classics, current stuff, and new stuff. So again, a little bit different. Not trying to play all new that day, not trying to play all classics that day, not trying to play all current stuff, and get a nice mix in there. So you can get real opportunity to get in there and have some fun. Okay, next thing. Then a couple other things that happen. So March 29th, House the Runway. It's going to be denim and polo shirts. That's going to be the theme for the evening. Now, I'm working with House the Runway on that, and what I'm also saying to you is that I have a couple free tickets. So I have a couple free tickets, and also you can get tickets certainly from House the Runway. You can contact me, but I do have a couple free tickets. I'm going to tell you how you can get the free tickets a little bit later. All right. Okay. Now, let's do this. Some upcoming shows. I'm super excited. We have Delmar Brown coming on next week. Many of you know Delmar. Delmar is a very, very sharp individual who's into the house music thing, but he does other stuff too. And we're going to talk about, are you ready for this? The road to success in house music. We're going to talk about that. Just some of the things we see. Now, obviously, nobody can give you a direct path, but we can talk about some best practices. So we're going to talk about that, succeeding in this business. So we're going to talk about that. Next thing, on December 26th, we're going to have Stacy Mitchell. I love her personality. When I see Stacy, I get excited. I mean, her energy is crazy. And plus, she shows up at a lot of the different places and different things. So we're going to have her and get her perspective. We're going to have the Stacy Mitchell experience here on Soulful House Nation. So I'm super excited about that. I got a lot of good stuff coming. A lot of people that you're going to recognize, some you won't. And there's a reason I do it that way. And I remember going back several years ago and I had a conversation, in particular with Ricky Clark. And Ricky Clark, so you know how somebody can say something to you and it crystallizes your thinking. It's like you were thinking it, but it kind of was like whatever. And then, you know, he said to me, he says, you know, Dan, he says, and I said, okay, from your mouth to God's ear. He says, you know, you're going to do pretty well with this show. Thank God, you know, we are. We're last week, we're in multiple places. We had over 4,500 live views. Facebook, respectfully, is the least of it. Twitch is the least of it. But we get a lot of people watching internationally on the website, etc. So we're doing very well. But here's what he said to me. He said, Dan, listen. He said, your show, you're going to do very well with it. He said, let me ask you a question. Are you going to bring in people who are not known? And it kind of stopped me because I had thought of that, but you know, like I didn't really think of it like I had a decision about it. I had a way of thinking about it. And the answer is yes. Absolutely. I thought about it, but again, he crystallized my thinking. And that's why I'm committed to, I want to get big names. That's good. I love that. But I also want to give some exposure to people who I feel put the work in and are making it happen, but maybe I can give them a little boost with this platform here. So anyway, so you're going to see some different people that you know. You're going to see people that you don't know coming up. So that's good. Meantime, share. Okay, now, let's do this. Hey, Chuck, you know, a song that I want to tell you about is a track called Mr. Fly by a special guest, Heidi B. And it's a great track. But here's the deal. You're going to have to come to the Shazam Free Zone to hear it. That's the deal. I'm going to give a few shout-outs, and then, Chuck, you can put on something. Whatever you put on is good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start our things here. Let me just say something here. We got, okay, just give some shout-outs here. Timothy George, what's happening? How you doing? All right. Okay. Wally Young, what's up? Hey, Stacy, I didn't realize you were there. Stacy Mitchell is in the house. Shawanda Faye Thomas is in the house. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something. You got to check out Dolce. I mean, what they're doing there is incredible. And you know what's incredible about that is they started this from scratch. Let me tell you something. That's a very hard thing to do. But whatever that formula is, they got it right. So big shout out to Shawanda and Guy. All right. Sultan, what's up? December 26th. Okay. Let us know about that. September 26th. All right. Jesse Stevens is in the house. Shalene, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. All right. We're gonna continue on in a little bit, and we're gonna go here. So what I want to do now, Chuck, can you play a little something, just a little snippet, because you know Facebook has this nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. And then we're gonna get into our interview with our special guest, Heidi B. All the way. I'm talking about a long swim. I said a long swim from Helsinki, Finland. Chuck? Fade it down and bring it down before Facebook Facebook does. Anyway. Well, Heidi! Can we bring up Heidi? Heidi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Welcome all the way from Finland. Whew.
Woohoo!
My arms are tired from that My arms are tired from that swim. Put it that way.
Well,
All right. Hey, listen,
I'm
just
strong.
hey, just a little correction, just in case I might have screwed that up. It's February 26th. If I said January 26th, then I mean December 26th. I mean no, it's February 26th. So just want to correct that. February 26th. All right. So Heidi, you're all the way from Finland, and first of all, I want to say thank you for joining us. But start out a little bit about telling us about you, just a little bit. We just want to know a little bit in the beginning to start off the conversation.
Okay, so my artist name is Heidi B. Yes, I'm from Helsinki, Finland, and I'm an artist, singer-songwriter, music producer, remixer, DJ, label owner, and recently also a podcast host. So there's a little teeny tiny synopsis of me, and I've been a house head for decades.
Okay.
So I've been, since I first got exposed to house in late 80s. That was it for me.
Okay. Now, just before we get going, just want to send a big thank you out to Anaya Weathers because she's the one who introduced us. Now, how do you know Anaya?
Well, I connected to Anaya through my social media. I'm very active in my social media, and I don't actually remember which platform it was, but it was one of the platforms where you can hear some new music, and I heard some of her tracks, and I liked them, and I liked them so much that I actually included them in my Traxos charts, and I think the discussion started from there. Yeah, I think that was the background there.
Okay.
Originally.
Now, you mentioned you got exposed to soulful house music back in the 80s. Well, who were some of your favorite artists from back in the day?
Well, as the story goes, I actually can literally remember what was the first house track that I heard.
Oh, really?
I was very young at that age, but I heard from the radio. I heard "Love Can't Turn Around."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was it. It was something very different at that time, and that kind of got me into listening to house music, and back at that days it was all of those Marshall Jefferson, for
Sure.
instance, and Jungle Brothers, and everybody during that era, Joe Smooth,
Sure.
all of those classics, Masters at Work. So I'm old school when it comes to that, and I did some DJing in my youth as well, so of course that was exposing me more. Some acid house. I listened to all sorts of genres. So it was really exciting times, and it has been with me since I got first buck.
Okay.
House buck.
Okay. Now, hey, give us perspective. You're in Europe and you do stuff internationally, and you're also having presence in the U.S. Now, where do you see? What's your perspective on where house music is headed?
I think house music is headed towards something lovely. People have been talking for a while already, house music being recognized a little bit more and more and more, or coming back. I always say that it never went anywhere.
Right.
First of all, it never went anywhere. but it just has evolved, and maybe at some point, then the thing that you referred in the beginning, like more dance and EDM and things like that, more commercial styles kind of took over, but it was always there. But I feel that the appreciation again is rising, and it's, in my opinion, and based on what I'm seeing, it's going towards something more beautiful, and people are kind of, let's say, for us old school househeads, it's nice to see when the youth and younger generations are actually, getting bitten by that house bug and starting to cultivate that in their DJing sets and stuff like that. And what I'm also hearing, of course, is a lot of sampling of old school house tracks that you can now recognize in a little bit new clothes, but I see that it's getting to something very nice.
Yeah, see, I agree with you. More and more, I'm hearing people starting to check for it. Now, to some extent, they're starting to recognize it on the Grammys, which I think is a good look. Obviously, it's like in the corner in the back in the dark. Make a left-hand turn at the right wall. Go down into the basement, take 3 steps, make a left. There's a combination lock there. You have to get through that. Then you open the vault, and there it is. But at least it's in the building now,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
I was just talking with, in my own podcast, I was just talking with one of the guests. For instance, it's a very interesting phenomena. If you think about certain genres of house, like garage,
Yes.
which is like really big, especially in UK. It was just recent, however, that it was like having its own page in Traxos and stuff like that. So it has taken quite a while, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
Well, from my perspective, I see a lot of the EDM, the trance, the garage, jacking house, all that. I see that as descendants of the original house music, which, with the original soulful stuff. But it's pretty interesting. Like I said, it's interesting to get perspective from different people, and of course to get perspective someone who's in a different country altogether. So I appreciate that, your perspective on it. Wow. Okay, now you know all this stuff. What do you want? Matter of fact, where do you want to take house music personally, or where do you see it to go or grow with it? What's your vision of the impact you want to have?
My personal impact, well, I'm a lover of soulful house.
Okay.
And I'm always saying that soulful house is respecting the roots of also the songwriting. Really, it's not really much so much anthem based like some other genres of house. So it's more about the song making, and it's also more about the vocalist skills and everything like this. So I want to, on my behalf, respect that and keep on writing those like more song oriented tracks. I remember when I was said and told some years ago when I was starting the music production that, I wrote 2 song-like things. And then you should cut them short and you should make them like, more like an anthems. And I just felt that, no, that's not my thing. And that I want to write songs that touch people's hearts with melodies, with lyrics, with stories, and the house music in... especially the soulful house, it's giving that opportunity, and that's kind of my contribution. That I also tell a message, I tell stories, and that's how I'm doing it. It's kind of bringing the classic songwriting and vocalist orientation, and keep that tradition going on in this world where quite a lot is anthem and loop based. Thing,
Right. Well, unfortunately, I didn't get the gift of song. Listening, but singing, that's another story. And I believe the Lord gives you 2 gifts. And I've said this For those of you who heard it before, act like it's the first time you ever heard it. Okay. Anyway, so the Lord gives you two gifts. One gift is that you can sing. But I think the better gift is to know very early that you can't sing and then go do something else. You see? So if I ever thought I was going to sing, the people around me straightened that right out. So I just kept it moving. I kept it moving. Also, too, I never had any skill with like instruments and things of that nature. I can appreciate it, but I don't know. I just never connected on that. So I fell into DJing and emceeing and that kind of stuff like that. Now, let me ask you this: you're a producer, DJ, singer, songwriter, artist, label owner, podcaster. I don't know, and I don't know. Maybe you even walk dogs. I don't know. I mean, you got a lot of stuff that you have to do here. You do here. Do you have one that you say, hey, I do all these other things, but this is my first love?
Singer-songwriter is my first love.
Okay, interesting.
I sing the songs that I write. I don't, usually perform other people's songs or covers or this kind of things. I write my songs and I perform them, and it has been since I was a child. I mean, when I was a kid, I still had some kind of those old time tape recorders, and I remember when I was making my own songs, and singing there. So that little Heidi is still there after all these years.
Isn't that interesting? Wow.
So that would be coming first.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else is kind of, has evolved around that.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that it kind of supports and complements that core thing.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You mentioned that, hey, that little Heidi is still there. I remember someone saying that we're all tall kids. and we still, even if we don't act on it, we still remember those things that we wanted to do and had in mind when we were kids. Now, see, for me, my thing has been DJing. I never really was a dancer or any of that stuff. A lot of people can attest to that too. But my thing is DJing. That's my number one thing. Like people ask me, sometimes they ask me that, do I like DJing or doing shows and interviews? I really love the shows, but if push came to shove and I had to do one or the other, it'd be straight up DJing. And I would tell you that the show and all the other stuff that I do related to it came from DJing. So I get it. Yeah. It's kind of like these things were added on and or because they were necessary or something, an opportunity opened up. So I get it. Now, how did you get into production? And who were some of your early and or current influences in production?
Well, I got into production kind of early. Well, I could say in one way that 5-year-old was already producing since I was making my recordings. Mm-hmm. But in my mid-20s, I started to explore DAWs and recording techniques and all that kind of stuff. It was just, very exciting to me. I had so many ideas lying around, and I wanted to, really manifest them and materialize them, as some kind of creations and works. So I started to learn, and it gradually took me, it was a course of several years. I had some pauses between and so on, but I took courses. I studied about music production also, and I put a lot of time there. And I invested also to get my studio, trial and error, doing things. And then eventually and that's the interesting part of the story, how I kind of got really more recognized and it helped me to take the leap to the music business, was that I challenged myself to put my works out there in social media and so forth, which then, started to get attention from very great, sources and so forth. So that was the thing, and then I got around 2007. I produced together with a German studio. I produced independent album actually of compositions, and that taught me a lot about the music production. And even though it really didn't go out there or make big difference in music history, it however made a big difference in my personal life, that I learned a lot about the serious album making. And that again encouraged me to start to do my own productions. And then what happened, long story short, when I was exposing my composition, actually house legend Jesse Saunders happened to hear them, and he contacted me and he proposed to be my manager. So that, considering then the first track that I heard, Love Can't Turn Around, him being involved as a producer, and then it was something like I was saying to myself, like, oh my goodness, God's ways are very mysterious. This is how I felt. So I then collaborated with him for about a year, and Mr. Fly was a result of that release, was result of that collaboration. That had about six different mixes that were released on his Broken Records label. And then afterwards, when that project was done, I already got so much experience that I was able to start to really, harvest the possibilities of collaborations. People were reaching out to me; they wanted to know if I can sing in their productions or so on. And then when they found out that actually I'm writing my own material, it really then started to blow up, so to say. And basically then all of my releases are recorded and produced. The vocal productions, even in all of my collaborations, are done by me in my own studio. So it got to that level, and then eventually I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna just put trust on my whole own productions, and which I did from the zero to to the final product. And they have been received very nicely as well. So that's the long story in compact as I can put it.
Now, you mentioned Jesse Saunders. Jesse Saunders, who, by the way, I did interview, is by many is considered, when he did On and On, was the first ever house track. So so that was a good connection right there. And then and then too, that was all around Love Can't Turn Around. All that stuff was back there, and he's on and that was really big stuff back then. And that's fantastic. Now, how about this? Let's talk about. Oh, you mentioned but your DAW. What? Just for my own ears, what DAW do you use?
That's again that part of the trial and error. I started with the Cubase.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I went to Logic.
Okay.
And then I went to check Pro Tools.
Okay.
And now I have landed to Studio One.
Okay, interesting.
So I'm using Studio One because it basically has a lot of this kind of logical, it has a logical structure like Logic has, but it also has some features that the Pro Tools would have, but a little bit more simpler version. So I just found it that, no, this works for me.
Okay. Now.
Okay, I'm not sponsored by any of those companies. But,
No problem. When people bring it up, I always ask that question. I was listening to an interview that DJ Spen did, and I did not know, but he uses Cubase. So that's pretty interesting. I thought that was interesting. So let's talk about production just a little bit more, some people that you've worked with and any projects that you can share.
Well, I work with several projects. I have been, first of all, releasing with several labels before I launched my own. Nowadays, I'm 90%, out of my releases are focused on my own label because I'm believing it, and I have a wonderful team of artists to work with me. But I've been releasing with several labels, that Broken Records, Dot Dot Dot, King Street Sounds, Bonanza Records, Open Bar Music, many. A lot of other, Australian bobbing heads, Moist Music, a lot of German label tracks records, and so forth. So and I'm probably forgetting some of, but if people are interested to know, you can go always to my Traxsource bio, Beatport bio, and I have listed everything right there. But there are many labels, and nowadays, since I released with many people, I got to know, of course, many people, and now I'm working with around 18 different artists that are collaborating with me under my hive.
Wow.
I have a great team of people there. Some from US, Puerto Rico, Slovenia, from Italy, France, South Africa, Portugal, Finland, many.
Wow.
So it's like really, I would say that it's a community of house music lovers around the world, and I'm resonating with their sound. I'm a little bit picky because I like to, have my distinctive Heidi B sound. But with this wonderful group of gentlemen that I'm having the pleasure to work with, they vibe with me, and they know what I'm looking for, and it just, has been amazing. So I'm currently having a lot of works under process with the different producers under my label, and then on top of that I'm doing remixes, and I'm doing again some new full Heidi B productions, and something in UK in near future that it's a little bit hush.
Okay.
But
all right.
something is out for this spring with two different persons. So something is coming out on April, and spring is gonna look nice. Let's put it like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it, but just popped into my head as we were talking. You're getting music from different parts of the world in terms of the producers. So I'm guessing, even though theoretically it's supposed to say this is a thing, they are probably coming in with flavor that maybe you might not necessarily would have sat down, at your DAW and created that, but they're coming up with sounds. I mean, do you find that, and do you flow with it, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, I find it inspiring. The how it works is that that my team is they do know about my sound and what kind of stuff I would like to release. So they send me proposals, and then I'm kind of checking. And I love the fact that they are a bit experimental, because what I have learned is that all of us will benefit from that. I need to challenge myself on taking something new and rethink. So it kind of helps me to evolve as a songwriter and as a vocalist. So I always take it as some kind of blessing, that it gives me opportunities to learn, and for them hopefully too.
Okay.
At least I would wish that it goes both ways. But for me, I like that. So yeah, it keeps it very interesting, very
Right.
interesting and challenging in a positive way.
Right. Yeah. You know what's interesting is that I don't know anybody who says they're not open to new things, but then a lot of times when they hear them, they go, "Well, I'm not that open," but I'm glad.
Yes, yes.
I'm glad you're open. Hey, Del, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Now, I read your bio. Your bio is very, very intense. Can you just give us just a few of the highlights of that, and then we'll move on. It's just that I just can't have the conversation without just a little bit talking about your very, very extensive bio, so people can get the scope of how how wide your reach is and what you've experienced.
Well,
Hmm.
well, I would say one of the things which kind of really struck me personally has been all of those vocalist awards that I have received. I'm in 3 consecutive years already. There's the OGV, Only Good Vibes Awards, UK-based house music awards. And what is very beautiful is that it's based on public's nominations, you know. So first of all, the public, the audience is deciding who is nominated, and they
Oh,
send the
okay.
votes.
Mm-hmm.
So that already warms my heart that I was nominated
Mm-hmm.
in 3 years in a row
Oh,
to be
okay.
in a category of best emerging vocalist. And then what shook me even more was that I was awarded as a best emerging vocalist 2021.
Okay.
And then I came second runner-up in 2022, and now 2023 I was the first runner-up. So I've been in top three consecutive years, and I'm like, wow, because I don't necessarily then see it here since living in Finland and everything. So it kind of like tells me that there are, this particular, I would say, quite stable group of audience that is following my music and supporting and listening my music. Even I don't, do much live gigging or things like that. Um, that's one of the great things that has really warmed my heart. And then another thing that I would maybe like to, address there is this new podcast now. It has been welcomed so warmly. I started Heidi's House podcast, and the people talking about it and being so willing to contribute and join in, it has been phenomenal. And I just started, and that kind of tells me that that long journey that I've been working here in this music biz, that even to me, if it sometimes seems that, is there, what is coming out of this, or
Right.
I don't necessarily see always the results, but then in these kind of moments I'm noticing that, oh, okay, something has happened.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And those would be not two things coming to my mind. Then, of course, well, the third one, what I'm really happy about is the DJing. And I have to say that even though singing and songwriting is the number one, DJing is number one and half.
Okay.
So it's very close.
One point.
Because I
Point.
used to
Point.
do
Oh,
it in my youth,
uh-huh.
and I was so much into DJing and everything. But then I stopped it, and it was a long time I had no exposure on DJing itself, except being surrounded by DJs and clubs. But I decided to come back to that, and I thought that maybe it's kind of like crazy timing at this point of my life. But then I said, no, if you want to do it, just do it.
Okay.
Who cares? Do it for yourself.
Right.
And so I did. And I
Yeah.
started to do the DJing again, and brush up my skills and learn some new stuff as well. And now the current situation is that I'm actually been having 2 monthly guest residencies in 2 radio stations. One
Okay
at
now.
Maluti Deep House Radio there in US,
Mm-hmm.
and just landed that, and then with DJ Greg Anderson, he was, he was inviting me there, and it really was like, I was like, woohoo about that, and I don't know how to else, to say it. And then after that, what happened was that I was invited by House Fusion Radio UK to
Okay.
do the similar thing, and that has been just phenomenal and fantastic for me. And this and something new cooking also a third radio station where I'm gonna
Oh wow.
make a guest feature. So stay tuned,
Wow.
people.
Well, yeah, there's something to be said for putting the work in and starting to see little things. And sometimes too, people around you don't. They see you. They see you grinding and hustling and putting the work in, and maybe they don't see this blow up thing out of the blue. But meanwhile, you got to stay steady at it, and little by little, something pops up here, something pops up there, and boom, next thing you know. So that's all right, and that's great for anybody who is that's great for anybody who is who has any type of dream or desire. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Now, so let me ask you this: podcast, and that's big, and I do a weekly podcast. What really, when you decided to do the podcast, what was the idea behind it? And I know you're doing the interviews, but I mean, what were you thinking when you said, you know what, I need to do a podcast? What was driving you? Put it that way.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's again long story. I tried to make it somehow short.
Mm-hmm.
But this was already a while ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with, originally it was like this, that I was talking with one radio personality
Mm-hmm.
who really encouraged me to, to use my conversational skills more, and
Mm-hmm.
said to me that, Heidi, you would do well with the interviews. You have that kind of vibe that people like, feel comfortable with you and everything like this. And I was like saying, me, I don't know about it. But then it was kind of puzzling me.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, well, what could I talk about?
Mm-hmm.
I can talk about many kind of things in life and so on, but maybe more on private level and so on. But it somehow left there. And then I started to cook in my mind that, well,
Mm-hmm.
it would be wonderful to talk about music, of course, because that's my really my passion,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And it somehow evolved from there. I think it took a little bit courage also, and a little bit networking and learning all this technical stuff, and thinking like what the concept could be. And then at some point it was clear, it just was so clear that talk about what you do, talk
Uh-huh.
about what you do with people,
Mm-hmm.
and share your experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and share your love and enthusiasm towards music. And because you can do the exchange, you can support each other, you can help each other, and then it just somehow started to evolve even more, that I said to myself that there's this huge community that you can see in social media, not necessarily all the big names which get more exposure, but there's a lot of people that I know personally, like
Mm-hmm.
Anaya, for instance, which
Mm-hmm.
we mentioned in the beginning, that who are doing beautiful things,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely beautiful things.
Mm-hmm.
That what about if you share about all of those things, and you have a discussions, and people can enjoy the exchange, that it's not only for us who talk, but
Right.
really like, for the house community. And then it's kind of evolved even more. They became like more bigger message and philosophical, thing, that
Mm.
people are doing this all around the world. Let's bring uh, let's unite people some way, and let's bring equally voices from all parts of the world. And since
Mm-hmm.
I am connecting with so many people, and then it just everything really, like I was mentioning, kind of started to be so clear that of course it was supposed to be like this. Of course.
Right, right. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad you did it. I'm glad. You know,
You.
one thing I will share with you about doing this is that you will meet so many people and you'll get so many different perspectives. You'll get so many ideas that you had no reason to think of. And there's people operating in a whole nother space. And then one idea will lead to another idea, will lead to, so I'm telling you, hey, I'm happy you're doing it. You're going to be happy you're doing it. And it's going to open up things for you. And it's going to give you opportunities, and also too, it's going to open up your mind and say, oh wow, okay, I get it. And oh, wait a minute, I didn't know about that. Oh, wait, really? Tell me more. You know, you're going to see that, so that's exciting. Yeah.
Constant learning.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the thing, open it up and exchange and sharing. And then I think what you just told is kind of it's so beautiful. I think it also keeps you humble,
Oh,
in a nice way, because you always feel like, wow, all these people and this talent and things they do and ideas and also so much to learn still and
right.
explore.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, we're getting down to the wire here, and just want to know if any final thoughts, and if people want to reach you, how would they do it? Connect with you?
Well, I'm very active on Facebook. My profile is Heidi B Music, B Music written all together. And then I have also my IG account, Heidi B Music, same name there. So I operate those two, and they are nicely growing. I do have there also a link tree in my IG site for my other sites, Traxo, Speedboard, if you are interested to find out about my releases or support them and so on. So those can be found. And then obviously, last but not least, my YouTube channel, which is also hosting Heidi's House podcast. So that is Heidi B Official. And there we post every episode, but also I post there some of my music videos and stuff, that are high vibe label releases. Some DJing fun videos as well occasionally, but mostly there you can find also my music as well.
All right. Well, Heidi B, all the way from Finland. Okay. Now, okay, this has nothing to do with anything, but I just wanted to get this cleared up. You guys drive on the right side or the wrong side of the road?
We drive on the right side of the
Okay.
road. I don't understand the wrong thing, but let's leave it.
All right. Well, listen. Hey, Heidi, thank you so much. Listen, I'm happy to have had you as a guest. Welcome to jump in anytime. Anything I can help you with on this end, let me know. We'll go from there then. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate, and again, thank you so much for inviting me here, and wonderful questions and just absolutely delightful, wonderful show you have here, and
Thank you.
I'm happy now to be part of that history in my little cameo appearance.
Hey, well, listen.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go right into the Shazam free zone. We're going to play only brand new music. Most of you have probably never heard the music, but I will tell you, all the music that you hear when you go out and you hang out starts somewhere. So it's starting here. All right, so we're going to start this thing off and get this thing going. And as we play it, I'm going to play it and say it. My name is DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Chak, would you start us out?